What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again for another BFR. Game 53, which was versus the New Jersey Devils at home. And February 25th, 7:30 p.m., the Hawks beat the Devils 8-5. They moved to 19-26-8. They outshoot the Devils 37-36. Out-hit 26-19. Faceoffs were 38-28. For the Devils, Devils out-hit and do better in the face-off dot. However, on the power play, Chicago goes 3 for 4, excellent, and New Jersey goes 0 for 2. Hagel and Kershaw played their 100th games, almost at 1,000, 900 more. Lankinen, his first game back from a broken hand injury, and I was there. I was at the Hawks game last night, and both teams had a lot of turnovers, and it was a pretty physical game as well. I got to see everything last night. Back in 2020, before the pandemic started, I got to see Patrick Kane get his 1,000th point. Today, I got to see another historic game as the Hawks win 8-5. Crazy game with 13 goals. Only thing I didn't see was Fleury, and that already made me angry. But I got to see a great game anyway, so it was fine at the end. So Lankinen saves 31 out of 36. Gillies was in that, and he saves 29 out of 35 for New Jersey. DeHaan was out, McCabe was out, Galvis and Gustafsson were in. Early in the first, Borkstrom was tripped, no call. Regula had a good hit. Then there was a good Bastian had a good hit on Jones. Doc and Kershaw 2-on-1 was blocked on a turnover. Kane had a great move around and then was blocked. Sorry about that. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, so Kane had just made a great move around 2 and then was blocked. And Hagel had just missed a wide. DeBrincat one-timer missed. And then at 12:26, it's a Chicago goal from Brandon Hagel. 15th of the season, unassisted off a bad Devils turnover. I think it was Ty Smith that turned it over. I'm trying to remember in my head, but I'm pretty sure it was him. Awful turnover. It cost the Devils a goal. It makes it 1-0. And then the Devils pressure right after. Lankinen was sharp. Then you had Kershaw on a 2-on-1 with Doc that was blocked off on a turnover. Good defense by Kane. Doc missed a near breakaway. Then at 10:19, it's a New Jersey goal from Jack Hughes, his 15th of the season from Graves to make it 1-1. And that was off a Hawks turnover, and great play by Graves, got it up to Hughes, and he shot it and scored it right in. So it's 1-1. And then Kane nearly had a breakaway, but he couldn't get it back. And then Galvis had a chance that was saved. Regula and McLeod had a scrum, and the game was starting to get physical. And then you had a Heischer chance that was stopped. And then at 1:05, it's a New Jersey goal from Igor Sharangovich, his 12th of the season from Hughes and Siegenthaler. It's a hard name to say. And it makes it 2-1 at the end of the first period. And the Devils, after playing a game in Pittsburgh, which they won 6-1 the previous night, they were looking pretty good. But the Hawks, they would respond in the second period and third period in big ways. Started off at 19:30, it was a New Jersey penalty to McLeod for boarding. It was served by Janssen, and Carpenter and McLeod fought over after it, and it was each got a 5-minute major for fighting. Murphy's head had hit the glass during the board, so he went right off and into the locker room. He would return, so that's good for him that he would come back. Mercer just missed a 2-on-1 opportunity that turned into a breakaway. Then at 18:26, it's a Chicago power play goal from Patrick Kane, his 14th of the season, from DeBrincat and Seth Jones to make it 2-2, which ties the game. So the crowd's going nuts. And then a turnover for a turnover shorthanded during that penalty kill for shorthanded was for Sharangovich. He missed the net. DeBrincat chance on turnover stopped. Doc nearly missed a chance. Heischer a breakaway saved by Lankinen, and then at 14:03, it's a penalty to Gustafsson, and I had a perfect view of this play. It was like directly across from me. He's called for tripping, and he trips Jack Hughes. Thing is, his stick never touched Jack Hughes, so full embellishment on Hughes. Great actor, bad call by the refs. And then so yeah, that happens at 14:03. But then at 13:12, New Jersey penalty to Bastian for slashing, and it would have been if Bastion doesn't take that penalty, the Hawks go up 3-2 there and then shorthanded because DeBrincat and Entwistle had a shorthanded 2-on-1, and because of that slash, he was able to stop it. Gillies then robs DeBrincat as the power play. It goes into a power play after the 4-on-4. And then at 9:08, it's a New Jersey penalty to Smith for hooking, which would be not a great call by the referee, but the Hawks take advantage as Borgstrom not Borgstrom. At 8:36, it's a Chicago power play goal to Patrick Kane, his 15th of the season from Seth Jones, and DeBrincat makes it 3-2. And then it deflected off Severson. You knew it deflected off someone because the way the puck moved. You couldn't tell if it was Hagel, Strome, or Severson. Turned out to be Severson, so Kane gets his second of the game, and now they lead 3-2 with their second power play goal of the period, and Kane's second power play goal of the game. And then Borgstrom nearly has a 2-on-1 but gets tripped, and at 7:44 it's a New Jersey penalty to Graves for tripping. Sharangovich had a shorthanded chance that missed. Sharangovich was looking great shorthanded tonight. He just couldn't opportunize. He got the one goal, but he wouldn't score any more than that. He could have had a few. Kane hit the post on a breakaway. Then Kane just missed the second chance, and then at 5:51, it's a Chicago power play goal from Brandon Hagel, his 16th of the season, second of the game, and his 100th career game. So what a 100th career game for him. So he gets it's from DeBrincat and Kane to make it 4-2. DeBrincat had a fantastic. He's usually the goal scorer. He was passing tonight. Kane and Hagel Hagel's a mix of both. Kane usually the passer. They were getting the goals tonight. And then to end off the period, so that's their third power play goal of the period, third power play goal of the game. So great power play tonight for the Hawks, and they're up 4-2. But before the end of the period, it's a New Jersey goal, and it's such a strange play at 2:17 from Jesper Bratt, his 17th of the season, from Siegenthaler and Severson to make it 4-3. It was an up-ice pass, and it got past Gustafsson and Seth Jones. The puck bounced over both of their sticks, and Jesper Bratt, it was a great pass, and he's on a break. He goes 5-hole, and Lankinen makes it 4-3 before the end of the period. And it's awful defense, but it was a phenomenal pass. But I couldn't tell if it was Siegenthaler or Severson who had done it, so that's just kind of how it happened. And then we move on, and at 1:37, it's a Chicago penalty to Doc for slashing. It would be killed, but it would carry over into the next period. Entwistle and DeBrincat had a shorthanded 2-on-1 again that missed, and then it hit the side of the post on the outside. And we go to the third, where New Jersey starts on the power play. Nothing would happen. And nothing happens for a while, but at 11:24, it's a New Jersey goal from Jonas Siegenthaler, his first as a New Jersey Devil. Came over from Washington, his first of the season from Hamilton and Tatar. And I couldn't help but thinking, "Ta-ta! Ta-ta!" Kind of a joke from the Bar Down crew at TSN, but I thought it was. And then Reichel had a chance denied, but it's 4-4. And Reichel's chance that was denied was pretty close. He just couldn't lift the puck over the pad. The only thing I didn't see tonight was Reichel's first NHL goal, which would have been cool, but an 8-5 game was a very exciting game. Hughes nearly banked it in off Lankinen from behind the net. And then at 5:56, it's a Chicago goal from Kirby Dach, his 8th of the season, from Caleb Jones and Murphy. Makes it 5-4. And what happened was Hagel and Kirby Dach were on a 2-on-1, and then Dach was looking for Hagel, but he couldn't get it to Hagel because Hagel was being defended after that pretty sharply. So Dach just took it to the net himself, made a sweet dangle into a wide open net, and it's 5-4 for Chicago. And that Siegenthaler shot, I forgot to mention that. That was an absolute weird goal. He just shot it he wasn't even looking when he shot. He kind of just flipped it toward the net, and it went perfectly over Lankinen's shoulder and in. So that was a nice goal from Siegenthaler, and then Dach responds about less than 5 minutes later. And so at 5:50, so Dach gets the goal. And then Kubalik and Kershaw had a 2-on-1 that was ended. But then at 5:15, it's a Chicago goal from Ryan Carpenter, his second of the season, from Entwistle and Seth Jones to make it 6-4. On that play, Seth Jones gets flipped over on a trip. Sorry about that again. So Seth Jones gets flipped over, and there's no call on the play, so the crowd's going nuts. But no one notices that on the other side of the ice. I was following this because my seats were right behind the Blackhawks bench, and I mean, like, it was right where if anyone's ever been to the United Center, you know where the teams come in and out. So you got the Blackhawks bench, and we're like 4 or 5 rows behind. Sorry about that again. And so yeah, we're 4 or 5 rows behind, so you can like see all of the ice. It's like right near center ice. So it was a perfect view. And so Seth Jones gets flipped over. He gets it up to Entwistle. Entwistle, who finds Carpenter. Carpenter fakes the shot, goes backhand, gets it up over Gillies, and it's a great goal to make it 6-4. And that happened 41 seconds later. So all of a sudden it's 6-4 for Chicago. And then we move on. Kane had a chance that was denied, but exactly a minute after the Carpenter goal, it's at 4:15, a New Jersey goal, his second of the game. It's Jesper Bratt, his 18th of the season, from Severson and Hughes to make it 6-5, so the game's not over. It was a great pass from Hughes and a great one-timer. And then the chaos begins. At 1:23, it's a Chicago empty net goal from Patrick Kane, who seals the hat-trick. I wore this hat to the game. I did not throw it on the ice, as I really like this hat, and I didn't want to lose the hat. But he gets his 16th of the season unassisted off a Hughes turnover, and it's unassisted. Hat-trick, 7-5, and the Hats flooded the ice. And then at Whistle, so then we go to not at Whistle, that was past stuff. So we move on, and then there was a good save point blank on Tatar, and then there was a scrum in front of the net where Murphy took off Janssen's helmet. And there was no penalties assessed after that. I thought Murphy might have got one for roughing and Janssen, but no penalties were assessed. Then at 27.8 seconds, prior to that, Kane tried a signature move, and it was saved. And then the goalie had been pulled, so the goalie was pulled at 2 minutes and 7 seconds. And so that's how that first empty net goal was scored, but then they pull it again at 1 minute. And then at 27.8 seconds, it's a Chicago empty net goal from who other than Brennan Hagel, who gets the second hat-trick of the Hawks game. First time that happened since March 9, 2003, that Steve Sullivan and Eric Daze had 2 hat-tricks in one game. So Hagel gets his 17th of the season from Lafferty and Caleb Jones to make it 8-5, and the whole building went nuts. And then what made the building go even more nuts is that on the way to the empty net, Subban, knowing the game is out of hand, he just purposely tries to trip up Hagel. He does, and then Hagel celebrates after scoring the goal, and Doc goes after Subban, and it was a cheap play without question. The announcers called him out on it, and it was an absolutely cheap play by Subban. And PK then, after the situation, after there was the scrum, and Hagel is then gone after. Subban goes after Hagel, and they both get and after the whole thing is over, like Subban went after Hagel for whatever reason. The refs had him in his, and they just started going at it, so they started fighting. It was a pretty quick fight, but at the 27.8 seconds mark, well, Hagel scores the empty net goal and gets his hat trick, his first hat trick in his career. The penalties to Doc and Hagel for roughing. Subban gets 2 penalties for roughing, along with a 10-minute misconduct. So that's a total of 14 penalty minutes on one play for Subban. Not to mention Hagel and Doc also get 2 minutes each for roughing, and making it 18 minutes in one play, along with a goal. So they all leave the stadium. Hagel comes back for the 3 stars. He was the second star of the game. And then, yeah, the Hawks went 8-5 as the rest of the game stays 5-on-5, and Hawks win in what a game that I was able to attend. And that's really all I have. Stadium Series is happening today in Nashville. Tampa is wearing their Bolts jerseys. Nashville's wearing their Smashville jerseys. And no, only big changes in the stats were Metropolitan, Rangers, and Penguins switched as usual. Central, Blues, and Wild switched as usual. And then the Pacific, Kings, Knights, and Oilers all swap places. Kings take second from 4th place. Oilers go to fourth from 3rd, and Vegas drops to 3rd from 2nd after their loss to the Coyotes last night. So yeah, great experience to be at the United Center again. First game I've been to since Patrick Kane got his 1,000th point. And yeah, it was a great time to be there, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to go watch the Stadium Series game in a few hours, so that's going to be a fun watch, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.